picture on Twitter is what it looks like. It says it's online. YouTube is there. Come on, Twitch. All right, looks like we're going to be starting without Twitch. Speaking of starting without things, by the way, Chris, you're on your own this week. Mike isn't coming.
What are you talking about? Seriously?
Yeah.
I got to do this by myself?
Yeah, you're on your own.
I don't know if I can handle it. What are you talking about? Where is he? Really? He's not coming?
Yeah, he's at like a...
Are we live now?
Yeah, we're live now. He's
at
like a gun convention or something.
Where is he? Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Fine. Well,
He's
I guess we'll handle it
then. South Pole. What am I, his keeper?
Right. Yeah, I think so.
I didn't take a survey before he left.
All right. You serious or are you kidding?
I'm serious.
All right. And we are live. Greetings to our loyal WFYL listeners around the world. Welcome back to your Philadelphia live stream, only on the Freedom Station. I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in once again, because for now, you still have the right to hear and the right to be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Philly Chris, and not as always, with me tonight are Liberty Lee, Russ the producer, and not Mike G. And you are listening to Mike G in the Morning with The Law Matters. And you can listen to our program every Friday at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL. So let's be heard. I want to remind our listeners that you can participate in the free and open exchange of thoughts and ideas throughout the entire week by visiting MikeGinthemorning.com. What's that called, Russ?
MikeGinthemorning.com.
All right. You can catch all our social media activity through MikeGinthemorning.com. You can get it right here at this YouTube link to check out our live streams every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your barber, tell your Uncle Jerry, and tell anybody, including Mike G, that you will listen and check us out at MikeGinthemorning.com. I also want to remind our listeners about the powerhouse lineup we have here at the Freedom Station. Kick off your mornings with Scott Adams, bringing you the Scott Adams Show weekdays from 9 o'clock until 11 o'clock. We've got the Kinetic Faith featuring Rick Crump. He's a friend of the program. As you know, we've had him on a couple times. Bringing Value Service and Order weekdays at 11 o'clock a.m. And, of course, Dan Bongino, bringing you the Dan Bongino Show weekdays from noon right until 3 o'clock p.m. We also have Ben Shapiro bringing you the Ben Shapiro Show weekdays from 3 to 5. And finally, a welcomed addition to the Freedom Station family, we have Michael Knowles bringing you the Michael Knowles Show between actually starting at 5 o'clock on weekdays. So don't forget to tune in and show us some love. And with that, you know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Hit it, Russ.
You know what time it is. Buckle up and enjoy the ride.
And there we have it. Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in here on our Thursday live stream. We were joking around there a little bit at the beginning of the show, but Mike had a situation with the client, so we couldn't make it tonight. So I'm taking the helm, and we'll see what happens. See if we can keep us on the air, or who knows? Maybe this will be the episode, Russ, that ends it for all of us, since Mike G gave me the reins. So we'll see what happens. What do you think we can do, Russ?
I think we're all getting fired.
Oh, yeah, you think so? Okay,
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, well, everybody should definitely tune
Out
in
of a
then.
cannon.
What's that?
Out of a cannon into the sun.
Out of a cannon? Yeah, why not? Hey, if we're going to do it, we might as well completely touch the third rail, right?
Yes.
So there we go. But anyway, yeah, thanks again, everybody, for being here. I prepared some clips. Maybe I'll just kind of quickly give everybody a little bit of a summary on some of the things I plan on getting into tonight. And welcome to the chat. Feel free to check in. Let me see what we got here going on. We got Rita, of course, and SM Dursa. Welcome. Hey now. Got Jeremy Miller. Randy. Liberty Lee's in there. Awesome. Okay. So welcome, guys. But, we have this whole thing going on up in Canada. I'm pretty sure everybody's pretty aware of that. So I have a few clips that I have ready to play regarding that situation with the truckers. And I do believe that there's a possibility from what they're saying, that we may see some of that activity starting here at the beginning of March. I believe there's going to be some sort of freedom truck rally going across the U.S. from the west to the east. So we'll see what comes of that. Also have some clips about Biden on Ukraine, and I was checking out CNN a little bit today to see what the Clown News Network is saying over there about the whole Ukraine situation. No matter what, I have some thoughts on how that's probably going to impact gas prices and some other commodities and other things we'll talk about during the program here tonight. Also, if it doesn't get us thrown off the air, maybe a little bit later I'll play some of those clips that Project Veritas just released. Pretty interesting things that are going on over there with James O'Keefe regarding the FDA executive Christopher Cole, who was caught on camera talking about some of their some of the stuff they're doing with the the zucchini, as we talk about here on the show. So maybe we'll save that for a little bit later. And then we may have a surprise visit from Mike at some point. We're hoping he will be able to join the program, but he's off taking care of serious business. But there's a chance he may be able to call in and check in with us later if we're still on the air, that is. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. So how's everybody doing tonight? Everybody doing good? All right.
Yeah,
I guess if you're in the car right now listening on WFYL in the morning, it's morning time. So good morning to you. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube and Rumble at MikeGinTheMorning.com. There's some other platforms coming out soon. I believe Truth Social is going to get released in March. I would imagine, depending on what Mike wants to do, we may make a presence on some of those platforms as well. But don't forget to check us out on Rumble, because you never know what's going to happen over here at the old YouTubes. So maybe, why don't we kick off the show? There's a clip that's been going around. I don't know how many folks have seen this yet or not. It's the top one in the doc there, Russ. I thought this was pretty interesting, but that comedian, Heather McDonald, who was on stage, and she was talking about herself getting all zucchinied up and everything, and then during her comedy routine. So why don't we start out with that? We'll kick off the show with that clip there, Russ, if you have that ready to go, my friend.
You just want me to play the whole thing?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's not that long, about 1 minute and 7 seconds, so I think the audience can handle it. Let's play it out.
Me to brag, I don't care, but I want you to know, double vaxxed, booster, flu shot, and I'm going to be honest, I have the shingle shot too. And I still get my period. What? Yes! Traveled, went to Mexico twice, did shows, meet and greets, never got COVID. Clearly, Jesus loves me the most. Seriously. So nice, so nice.
Have you seen this, Russ?
No, I haven't. Did she actually pass out, or is this part of the routine?
Well, the reason I'm not laughing is because, people were laughing because they thought it was part of her routine there, but apparently it wasn't, and she literally collapsed on stage and fractured her skull and everything, so it was pretty serious. But it was just interesting what she was talking about and what she said there at the end right before that happened.
I mean, she could have fooled me.
Yeah, right? Yeah, how about it? So, you did see that, Liberty? Okay.
I'm glad people actually reacted and treated it as serious and not just...
Yeah.
I think after a couple seconds that she didn't get back up was when they're like, is she okay?
Yeah, right.
It might have started as part of the comedy, and then she just knocked herself out when she hit the floor or something.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, I feel bad for her, actually, but crazy situation there because of what she was talking about. But there's been a few occurrences of that, I believe, where people were talking about things and all of a sudden something happened. So who knows? Karma, whatever it is. So there we have it.
You can't make this stuff up, folks.
No, you can't. You really can't make this stuff up. You can't, right?
That's something Phil Valentine used to say. You can't
What's
make
that?
this. It's something Phil Valentine used to say. You can't make this stuff up.
No, there's a lot of things going on that you obviously cannot make up. So crazy stuff going on out there. Crazy world, crazy times, but hopefully it'll get better. So did you put something in the doc there, Russ? What's this?
No, I didn't.
Just wanted. Oh, okay.
I don't
something
even
to-
use the dock half the time.
You're not using the dock, man.
No.
The producer that doesn't use the dock.
I am using the dock, but you guys didn't number it. I have many things.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where this. I guess Liberty put this in.
And she. All right. Let's see what she says
From
about
Jeremy Miller. Russ, show this. Great. Okay. Message
it.
received.
Yeah, and my thoughts on her feigning is, it's kind of crazy that sometimes people mock these situations, and she's another one of those individuals out there pointing out how proudly she's taken the vax and do whatever you want to do. As I've always said on the show, it's for each and every person to decide on their own. But
And she falls over.
these people who are pushing it out there and going after the quote unquote unvaxxed, the other class of individuals now that exist within our country for deciding for themselves what they want or don't want in their bodies. But it seems to be the divisiveness continues here. So
this is
that's
on the
what I think
level.
about that.
This is on the level of like winning the lottery and
Yeah.
then getting hit by a bus.
Right. Well, apparently Jesus loves her most, so there's that. About that, yeah. Not sure. She might.
Oh,
wanna
do
rethink
I?
That one, yeah. Right, yeah. I'm gonna make you faint now, right on stage. So, but who knows? Who knows? So,
Oh,
all right. Well, let's. Why don't we take a look at another clip? This whole thing with the Freedom Truckers going on. That second clip there, Russ. Maybe you can cue that up. I'm sure our audience has been following that. I've been watching
emergency press conference.
some of the. Yeah, this is interesting because they actually held a press conference. There's this whole new emergency resolution that
Yeah, I saw
Trudeau
that.
announced in Canada. And it's pretty crazy because essentially he's making their activity, which, apparently looks a lot like a peaceful protest, especially when you compare it to what I was witnessing here in Philadelphia when I was down there for the, quote unquote peaceful protest while police cars were being lit on fire and exploding. And
There's nothing more
people were
peaceful
breaking
than
in.
the crackling sound of a Walgreens burning down.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's pretty peaceful, right, Ross? Yeah. Kind of relax.
I
and
find
sit
that
around.
so calming. Just all the merchandise, as if we didn't have a shortage. All the merchandise just burning. I also, global warming. I care about the environment, and I want to put more heat.
Yeah, sure. Just add some more carbon to the environment.
Yeah,
That's not a problem.
Gotta love carbon. That's like part of life.
Yeah. Plus, there's nothing like the smell of burning police tires in the afternoon. Of course.
Nothing like
But
poison
yeah,
rubber
compared
gases.
to what we all saw there, and I played some of those clips on the Philly Chris. I have that Philly Chris YouTube channel out there for folks who haven't seen some of the footage I put together. We
Right.
played some of it on the show. Maybe we can check out another clip at some point in the near
Okay.
future here.
I have
But in
no
comparison,
timestamps for this.
what's that, Russ?
I have no timestamps for this. It's like 8 minutes.
Well, I thought it was a pretty good clip, and
All right.
I don't know how many people have seen this. It was from today, so let's let it play. I don't know if we'll do the whole thing, but let's let it play for a few minutes, and then we'll go from there, and we can talk about it a little bit more. But the reason I'm mentioning this, and the reason I thought it was a good clip for today, it should be the second one down, Russ. That looks like a different one there.
Whoa. Jeez.
Emergency press conference by
Remember
Canadian
how?
experts,
That's the link. That's
Is
the
it?
link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I pasted it in the wrong place there.
No, it says emergency press conference.
Oh, okay, you got it. All right. It looked like another one was popping up there. All right. But yeah, the reason I decided to add this to the list is that, we have the potential for this to happen in the U.S. starting in March, is my understanding. And there was that memo that was released by the Department of Homeland Security recently, which reminds me and is somewhat similar to what we're seeing in the statements made by Canada right now regarding the truckers and how they're making these peaceful protests an illegal activity, and the police are even confiscating their fuel containers and making their way into the protests and taking away their supplies. So it's interesting the difference that we're seeing there from what happened here in the U.S. a couple years ago. So let's check it out. Russ, go ahead and hit that.
Through my eyes, this is essentially a manufactured traffic jam that they've created.
Yeah.
They call it Truckistan.
Truckistan, okay. There we
Land
go.
of trucks, which is essentially what that means. That Stan is, I don't know what culture. There's a lot of Stan places like Pakistan, Afghanistan, and I believe the translation it just means land. So
Gotcha.
Truckistan is Truckland,
Truckland.
which
All right.
sounds like a really sick amusement park.
Oh, apparently there's a new Freedom Tunes Jeremy's pointing out. Maybe we can
Yeah,
find
I have that in the dock.
One-
I have that under
Oh,
my
you do?
section. Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we play a few minutes of this, and then we'll check out that since
All
Jeremy
right.
mentioned it. Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah.
And apparently Jeremy says I have an NPR voice. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to Mike G in the Morning. All right, go ahead, Russ.
You're not Mike G. You're an imposter.
That's right. Yeah. Trying to do my
right.
best. It's not the same without Mike, but
Indeed.
the show must go on.
All right. Well, here we go. Everyone stop
All right.
talking.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Danny Bulford. I'm a former member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. I was in the RCMP for approximately 15 years. I recently resigned. The last 8 years, I was a sniper observer on the emergency response team here in Ottawa, where the majority of my time was spent conducting protective operations in support of the protection of our Prime Minister and other VIPs. We want to clarify what the new emergency proclamation issued last night means. Under the order, Canadians continue to be allowed to come to Ottawa with their children if they choose to engage in peaceful, lawful protest. The order only restricts people from coming to Ottawa with intention to engage in violence, block critical infrastructure, or to disrupt trade. The Freedom Convoy and our supporters have always denounced violence. We only support peaceful protest. We are here in peaceful, lawful protest, seeking the restoration of our fundamental rights and freedoms. All Canadians should be surprised, no matter your political opinions, that the federal government has resorted to such an extreme and authoritarian measure like the Emergencies Act, and that the government wants to use force against a peaceful demonstration. We are peaceful demonstrators, engaging in lawful advocacy, protest, and dissent. The federal government emergency order clearly states that this protest is allowed to continue as long as the protesters are peaceful. The government is trying to order the police to use force against Canadian citizens who are peacefully demonstrating. As Canadians, we cannot allow this to happen. We call on our fellow Canadians to come to Ottawa to exercise their legal right of assembly and protest. The more Canadians that come to Ottawa will make it harder for the government to get the police to follow their illegal order.
I'm a former member of the Ontario Provincial Police, having served for 32 years of service. Following my service, I was issued a police exemplary service medal for that service. During the course of my investigation, I conducted over 5,000 different investigations and spent some time as a forensic investigator, looking at evidence closely and submitting professional forensic reports in court. I've always been and continue to be loyal to the citizens of Canada. The right to peaceful protest is sacrosanct to our nation. If that principle is abandoned and it looks like the government is heading in that direction, the government will reveal itself as a true tyranny and it will lose all of the fraction of remaining credibility it has left. We are concerned that the government will order the police to use violence against the peaceful protesters. The greater number of Canadians having more Canadians here defending the Charter will prevent the police from carrying out the government orders. The convoy is conducting a lawful protest. We recognize there is a democratic process under which change occurs, and we have no intention of acting outside the realm of this democratic process. We continue to ask for nothing more than the restoration of our rights and freedoms with respect to mandate and vaccine passports. We cannot thank the officers on the ground enough for their help so far, and we hope that they will continue to work with us as we continue to express ourselves peacefully, respectfully, and within the limits of the law. My personal observations as boots on the ground here for the last week and a half has been nothing but love, kindness, friendliness. I have never met so many Canadians that love one another, that feel so patriotic and kind towards one another. English, French, black, white, Jews, Muslims, Christians, people of all walks of life in love like I have never seen before. The state-sponsored media reporting seems to be an inversion of reality. We, the police, military, veterans, stand for freedoms and democracy, not for the agenda of the World Economic Forum.
My name is Eddie Cornell. I'm a 22-year veteran of the Canadian Forces in the combat arms trade. I'm speaking on behalf of veterans that have expressed grave concern for the direction our country seems to be going when you force your citizens to comply with orders that don't make sense. So we have lended our voice to the truckers movement and convoy with supporting the reducing of their mandates and removing them. So the veterans also took down the gates at the monument, which was something that was very offensive to veterans across the nation, to have a monument that our soldiers in the past and our war dead surrounded by a gate. Very offensive. So the veterans took it upon themselves to remove those barriers and protect that monument for a 24-hour period each and every day. What I saw in the media, once that story was put out, was that they tore down the gates and desecrated the monument. That is totally not true. I request that all of you please tell the truth. Don't shape a narrative. Tell the truth. That's all we ask. So the veterans have come forward and stepped up and came here to support people that are standing up for the freedoms that we all know as a Canadian. And we know what's right and we know what's wrong. So I'm calling on all veterans to come lend your voice to this movement so that the rest of Canada can see that this is wrong and they have our support. In closing, I'd just like to say, anyone that can get here, whether it's a car or on foot, please come. Your country needs you, and we need your support. And we need the hearts and minds of everyone in Canada to lend your voice, to speak up and stand up, and to tell people that you know and people that are in positions of trust and in your political arena that this is wrong. And we're not standing for that. They need to listen to what people have to say, and up to this point, no one has been listening. Thank you.
There we have it. All right, thanks, Russ. Yeah, so pretty interesting what's going on up there. And, I like the fact that they're pointing out the difference between what's being reported and reality. I think we've all seen enough of that here on these mainstream media programs, and it just continues. They're going after the monuments, as we were talking about with the fencing, and claiming that they tore it down. Everything I've seen online of the actual interviews of the truckers and people out there have been nothing but peaceful, as opposed to what we saw here in the U.S. over the past few years with these other events that were clearly riots and things of that nature, as opposed to what we're seeing the truck drivers do. So, I think it's going to have a pretty big impact if it happens here, and it'll be interesting to see how it's handled. So I just thought that would be a timely clip to talk about on the program, with that possibly coming here in a few weeks, and the effect that may have on the supply chain and oil and gas prices and things like that. So, Oh, you have that, Russ? You found the other one? Yeah, that Jeremy was talking about. Let's check that out. See what that is. Yeah.
So, as always, we love Freedom Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to also show them some love.
Shout out to Hey now, Freedom
Tunes. So we're not just yeah. So let's watch this.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Get the vaccine.
Oh, I'm just a real multi-billion-dollar corporation. I better listen.
Oh, right in the
Good. Now you get it.
Oh, I'm just a legal scholar and intellectual. Oh, what kind of fight could I put up? Oh, thank you.
Good. Now you get it.
Oh, I'd rather not, eh?
What?
Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that or nothing.
Get the shot.
No, don't want to do that.
You have to.
Yeah, no.
Do it!
No.
Do it!
No.
Do it!
No, don't think I'll be doing that.
Do it!
Oh, I think I'm just gonna sit in my truck till you learn some manners there, mister.
You're not the only big, strong man here. Move! Move it! Stop! Stop! You! Make him move!
Oh, yeah, I'd rather not, eh?
That's it! You're going to make me use my rape whistle!
Look at that. We made old blackface into redface. Oh, ain't that for sure. That's a good one, Harry. I'm glad I said that, eh?
Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about the trucker situation? Let me know in the comment section below.
All right.
And if you enjoyed this
Fantastic.
cartoon, please like, share, subscribe, and donate at patreon.com/freedomtunes. Thank you.
All right. So,
Shout out to Jeremy.
ladies and gentlemen,
Thanks,
Freedom
good stuff, yeah.
Tunes, make sure you like their video. And I'm going to do that right now. Follow my example. Show them some
There
love.
you go. Show them some love. Show them some love. That was awesome. That was a good one. Yeah, it's crazy, listening to Trudeau up there talk to everybody about what they should be doing, what they need to do, and while taking away their freedom. So no, it's really great what the truckers are doing. I think that Canadians, one thing I was thinking about the Canadians, having grown up in New Hampshire and spending some time up there, especially when I was younger, they're the nicest people, like truly amazing people. They don't even lock their doors, a lot of the Canadians up there, because it's relatively safe. They're definitely more trusting and kind of just more about
a lot.
leaving everybody alone, letting people live. And growing up in New Hampshire, live free or die, I felt very comfortable up there. What's that?
Is it true that they apologize all the time? Is that,
I don't know for
like,
sure. I don't
saying
recall that
sorry
being
a
a thing,
lot?
but yeah. Well, sorry about that.
Sorry, I'm so nice. Sorry,
oh,
bud.
sorry for being so nice too. I don't know. I just remember anytime I've been up in Canada, I was up there a few years ago too, with a group of friends, and just had a good time. But the thing is about them is they're nice until they're pushed too far, and they're still being nice, but they're doing something about it. And I think it's great, because what's happening up there is it's really just a little bit ahead of where we are here, in my opinion. And depending on what we see transpire in the coming weeks with the remaining effectiveness and COVID, the masks and the zucchini and all that, it'll be interesting to see how far they push things here. So,
well, I just got word, Chris. I think Susan is watching the stream. She says that was fantastic.
Oh, excellent. All right. Welcome, Susan. Hello. Hey now, Susan. Susan is, for those of you who don't know, she's the owner of WFYL, and we love her very much. She's been so incredibly supportive, and I'll take this opportunity to thank her for allowing all of us to be on the air. And never once has she ever told us what to do or say. So I think it's really amazing to be a part of the Mike G in the Morning show here with Russ and Liberty and Mike. And thanks, Susan, for allowing us to do that and be here. couldn't do it without you with all the support. So thanks. Yeah, fantastic. Well, there's that clip there. I thought it would be timely after the truckers were talking, the CNN compilation of misinformation. Maybe you can play that, Russ, and we'll roll into that because it's interesting to see the narrative change and move and all of the things that we've really delved into and talked about on the program over the past few years.
Gotta hand it to you, Chris.
pandemic,
Even though they're not numbered, they are in order.
Well, they're in order. I'm trying to put them in order.
I like that. I prefer they be numbered, but they are in order, so you get points.
I like to be prepared just in case. You never know.
I like that too.
We are not fake news. We are real news.
Much of the dossier has been corroborated. Some rioters were planning to murder lawmakers.
What does Putin have on Trump? Has Trump been compromised?
That Kavanaugh aided and abetted in the commission of a gang rape.
But it does look like that young man to me is taunting the Native American Vietnam vet, and he's in his face.
When you start whipping people and you want to split hairs between reins and whips.
There is no evidence of any wrongdoing by either Joe or Hunter Biden.
Looking ahead to 2020, one reason why I'm taking you seriously as a contender is because of your presence on cable news.
A widely held conspiracy theory that the coronavirus was created in a Chinese laboratory.
Dr. Fauci, thank you for keeping it straight.
So for those listening on the radio, this is a compilation of
This
is why no one trusts CNN
It is
ever.
now a pandemic of choice.
You can stay unvaccinated if you want, but you're not going to be able to travel to see your...
We are not fake news. We are real news.
Much of the dossier has been corroborated.
Yeah, it just looped.
Oh, did it? Okay. All right. Anyway, just thought that would be a friendly reminder of what we've seen happening here in the mainstream media over the past few years. How, the conspiracy theories are proven to be correct more and more, it seems. So,
what's it
stuff.
called?
Let's take a look at the comments here.
Hey, Chris, is there like a name for when a conspiracy theory turns out to be true? Is there like a Greek or a French word for it or something?
I think has to be conspiracy.
There has to be.
Then it's no longer a theory; it's just a true conspiracy. Which if we look back over the past couple of years,
that's just called a conspiracy.
Interesting how, a lot of them have switched around. It seems like. Okay, excellent. All right, good clips so far. So, how's Liberty doing out there? You doing good? Liberty Lee. All right, so maybe we can talk a little bit more about the Biden stuff. As I mentioned, I was checking out CNN today. Doing okay? Good. There's some clips. Maybe if we go down,
it's called Philly. Chris was right.
Thanks, Liberty.
We should just make a whole section for that. What are we doing?
Well, just trying to share what I think is coming. Actually, since you mentioned that, I did. Thank you for being here, Liberty. Thank you. A couple weeks ago and last week, I mentioned briefly before we play that next clip about, and again, this is not financial advice, but with some of the financial indicators I've been following and watching closely, I do have a strong feeling. This is just my own thoughts on this, but that may be a good time to consider purchasing gold. I mentioned it the past couple weeks, not financial advice, so I'm not telling you what to do. We might have to pull the clip, but I did mention some things that were similar regarding silver maybe a year and a half ago, and there was a trend upward on that. And I do believe in the next few months, especially with everything going on in Ukraine, if that continues and we see the increase in the oil pricing and the decline in the value of the U.S. dollar and the inflation continuing to rise at the pace we're seeing, which I don't see any way around at this point since, our government has decided to print trillions of dollars at this point. We're in more debt now than we've ever been in. Kind of similar to when we entered the Great Depression. So something to think about. Take a look at gold. We'll see what happens in the mainstream media regarding that in the next few weeks. But I did see something about it today for the first time on a station reporting it after I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. So, but I'll give some more updates on that. We'll keep an eye on it. I could totally be wrong, so don't do anything based on my opinion. But if you look into it and you feel that you agree, could be an opportunity out there. So with that, I'll move forward. Actually, why don't we play the oil prices inflation clip down a few then, since I was just talking about inflation, Russ, if you want to kick off that clip.
Looking at that.
Yeah.
Does this have a video that goes with it? Because It looks like it's just an article.
Oh, maybe that was an article. What was that one?
Oops. Oh, wait, here's a video. I don't know
A
if
video?
it's...
Let me see. Go back up to the article again. Maybe that was
probably
an
one of
article.
those smelly videos that you have to read. Those videos stink. No, I don't want you to show me notifications. Get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid website. You know what's great about our website? It doesn't harass you for locations and notifications and stuff like that.
Actually, let me.
Very,
I can
very
read this
simple.
if you want to put it up on the screen. This is one I did want to touch on. That's right. I forgot it wasn't a video, but if you want to bring that up, I can read it.
Which one are we doing?
That one with the inflation.
Oh, you just want to read that off the screen, though?
Yeah, I'll read it. Why not? Sure.
Right. Do you need it larger?
Got to do something. Mike's not here,
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
A little harder to have the banner back and forth. But anyway, U.S. inflation already stuck at a 40-year high of 7.5%, could spike to 10% or higher if Russia invades Ukraine, according to a new analysis. That's because oil prices could rise to well over $100 a barrel if Russia, a major oil producer, has its global supply lines interrupted either by sanctions or by conflict. Pain at the pump could ripple across the entire U.S. economy, according to the analysis, sending prices sharply higher on everything from gas to groceries. The study, which was done by consulting firm RSM and reported by CNN, found that a crisis in Eastern Europe would trigger the fastest rate of U.S. inflation since October 1981. Oil prices alone could rise to $110 or beyond from their current level of just above $90. We're talking about a real short-term shock. Joe Bersalis, I believe it is, chief economist at RMS, told CNN. Heating the home and putting gasoline in the car will become more expensive in the immediate aftermath of a Russian invasion, he said of a possible incursion. Russia is the world's second largest exporter of both oil and natural gas. Meanwhile, President Biden has vowed that any Russian military incursion into Ukraine would result in a swift and severe sanctions against Moscow. American and European officials fear that any sanctions against Russian financial institutions would result in retaliation from the Kremlin, including cutting the supply of oil and natural gas from Russia to Europe, which could crimp supplies and send prices spiraling higher. Last week, analysts at J.P. Morgan Chase predicted that a Russian-Ukraine crisis would send oil prices even higher than the RMS analysis predicted, to around $120 per barrel. Americans are already paying sky-high prices at the pump thanks to record levels of inflation not seen in 40 years. The national average for regular gasoline hit $3.50 a gallon on Tuesday, up from around $2.50 a year ago, according to AAA. And consumer prices have surged 7.5% from last year, forcing the average American household to fork over an extra $276 a month, according to the study by Moody's Analytics. The latest spike, which outstripped the 7.2% increase predicted by economists, marked the highest annual increase for consumer prices since February 1982, the Labor Department said last week. Increases in the cost of food, electricity, and rent were among the largest contributors to the red-hot rate. Though excluding food and gas, the consumer price index rose 6%. The inflation rate in the U.S. averaged 3.25% from 1914 until the present year. In 2020, inflation rose by just 1.2%. The previous year, inflation was 1.8%. Geopolitical tensions have remained high in recent weeks after Russian forces massed on its border with Ukraine, prompting American intelligence officials to warn of an imminent invasion. But there were signs that the crisis was being averted, at least for the time being. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Tuesday that he would seek more dialogue with the U.S. and NATO. This after his military pulled back some troops from the region. As signs of de-escalation emerged, crude oil retreated to just under $92 per barrel on Tuesday. Now, I read this in part because there was that reference to CNN in there. And it's interesting because I've been bouncing around, on the mainstream media networks, CNN, Fox, OAN, the other ones. And they're really pushing this Ukraine stuff on CNN. So it makes me wonder, what the point of that narrative on their station is, because we see all the stuff about Hillary in the news right now. I'm sure everybody's seen it, and the connection with her and what she was doing with spying on Trump and so forth and so on. Although I would imagine that probably nothing will happen with her, and she'll probably still run for president, as I mentioned a couple weeks ago. I had some thoughts on that, and I kind of still see that happening at this point, even though there seems to be some evidence to show that she has some involvement in, the spying and what was happening with Trump when he was running for president. But, they seem to continue to move forward and get away with things, so it wouldn't surprise me. But then if anybody does pop around and watch CNN, you'll see right now they're so focused on the Ukraine thing. It seems to be some sort of distraction, and Biden is claiming that there's going to be an imminent invasion within days. So that almost makes me think that it may not happen for a little while, if at all, just because of the narrative they're pushing. Have you been following that, Russ? Liberty? Anybody? Let's see what the comments say here.
Hillary gets on my nerves, so no, I don't
does she?
really. I don't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I could say the whole show break this.
And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a rematch.
Hey now, shout out to Barbara. Welcome to the show. Welcome back. Well, I think there will be, and I think that's the direction we're headed right now, and we'll see where that goes. But it's just amazing how the narrative is completely different on the various networks. So, but I think we're all pretty familiar with that at this point.
Jeremy
right,
Miller.
Russell?
Yeah. Jeremy Miller says, I saw a memory from a year ago of a friend complaining that gas was $2.75.
Yeah, I saw something where out west, in parts of California, have hit $6 and $7, and as this stuff continues to happen in Ukraine, and if something does kick off, which is still possible, then gas prices will, of course, skyrocket, and then if we have this trucking situation, that's going to cause some supply chain issues, and groceries are already, through the roof, and inflation is no longer, what was that term they were saying before, where it was temporary, but, the other word they were using. But, we know it's not temporary, obviously.
Like
at this point.
time restricted, time restrained.
Yeah, what were they saying?
2 weeks to flatten the curve.
Wait, let Liberty talk for a second. What was that, Liberty?
I know you read the article, but like in layman's terms, like what is Russia's deal right now?
It's interesting how the Biden administration is openly, and folks from the Pentagon are talking about false flag operations, and how that Russia may initiate a false flag operation to then do the invasion. And that's pretty wild to see our government really acknowledging false flags, even though they deny that, of course, we've ever had any here on our soil. But there's a lot of folks who talk about potential false flags that have happened here on U.S. soil. And there's certainly a lot of things in history when you look back that raise a lot of eyebrows and questions, in my opinion, and other folks that I've spoken to, including 9/11, for example. What's that?
Do you see it escalating?
I think it's going to continue to drag out for a while. It's almost like the 2 weeks to slow the curve thing, if you will. They're getting a lot of play out of this right now, it seems, especially on CNN. They're playing it constantly, and it's quite a distraction from what's going on with Hillary and the Durham investigation. So I think there's a potential reason they're doing that, and I think we're going to continue to see it drag out for a while. I don't know that, I'm not saying there wouldn't be an invasion. I think that's also a possibility, but I think they'll drag it out for a while and get the most out of it and distract folks from, what's going on here, and talk about Ukraine and the possible, start of like World War III, for example, which is kind of what we're looking at there. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Liberty, Russ?
I saw a meme of Putin working out in the gym. So
Oh, did you? Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how they're handling COVID, if they're saying work out or a mask.
Was he with a bear or something? Isn't he usually with bears?
It was just him. I don't know.
Wild animal. Okay.
He was
Yeah.
bench pressing a bear.
Is it? Yeah, that's probably what he was doing. The bobsledding, I guess it's called, the other night. That was pretty cool. Amazing how quick they go down those chutes.
Yeah.
Hate to see something happen,
I like that movie about bobsledding.
Oh, okay. Which movie was that?
What is it? The Jamaican bobsled team?
Oh, all right. Yeah. I think I remember that.
It was that
Yeah.
one stone
Cool
bobsled.
Cool Runnings.
Cool Runnings. Did a little sledding up in New Hampshire. It's a lot of fun, yeah. Flying down the mountains.
I've been seeing more memes about Hillary, Chris.
Oh, have you really? Okay. All right.
More hints that she might run and just
Mhm.
starting a narrative. Remember, like you said?
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Seems like they're getting her ready for it. Why not? I mean, imagine match between her and Trump.
That would be a rematch. Has that ever happened in history where a president, two people ran, one became president, and the other one a couple years later, and then they both ran a couple years later?
I'm not really sure. Probably. I don't know for sure. Let's see. What's this?
I would have to wonder that.
Yeah. All right, we have a comment from Jeremy Miller. Let's see what this says. Philly Chris, if you find yourself with 2 free hours, Viva Frey had a podcast with the Duran all about Russia and Ukraine and how we got here. Interesting listen. Cool. I'll check it out. Thank you. Yeah, it'd be interesting seeing what happens here. But a lot of distractions going on, it seems like, just like normal in the mainstream media there. And how many conspiracy theories have we seen turned into real conspiracies at this point, right, Ross? You were asking about that earlier.
I was hoping there was a special word for it.
Yeah.
I couldn't well, I tried Googling it, and all Google did was give me a list of conspiracy theories.
All right. We'll have to look into that. Maybe there is, but it's funny how,
there was even one that it listed, the CIA created the term conspiracy theory, which is itself a conspiracy.
We talked about that on the show maybe a year or so ago. Yeah, that's my understanding. So great way to distract folks. There is another interesting clip I came across regarding Ukraine, since we're talking about it. The one where it says Ukraine is a democracy with a question mark. Maybe you can play that one for us, Russ. We'll check it out. See what people think.
The one above or below that? How's this work?
It should be below. All the links are below, my friend. Okay. Thanks for asking. And thanks for tuning in, everybody. You're listening to WFYL 1180.
Oh, it's another
the Freedom Station.
Chris, what are you doing to me? You're making.
I'm just messing with you, man.
You doing vertical videos? Like what is this?
We can play whatever we want, can't we?
Where even am I? I'm viewing this.
I think you're in Pennsylvania still somewhere.
No, I'm at the North Pole.
Oh, you're at the North Pole? Okay, all right.
Remember I moved?
I do remember something about that. As long as you have enough food up there. What do you have to eat? You have enough Hot Pockets? You can keep those outside in the snowbanks.
Yeah, I don't even need a deep freezer. Just throw it outside.
Put everything outside.
I even got a dumper for my pickup truck. That way I can just dump the groceries just in the lawn.
Okay, why not? Yeah. Hey, save the electricity. Just step outside.
I'm viewing this stupid vertical video on a wide screen. Everything is backwards, and I hate it.
Well, these things happen.
Oh, man. Oh. All right. Well, because he's autoplay and have no navigation at all, that's YouTube dropping the ball on this idiot thing they call shorts. Anyway, I'm going to refresh. I'm going to stop complaining and refresh.
All right. Yeah, just play it. Let it play.
Now, here's something you are not going to hear on the mainstream media. What you do hear is warmongers arguing that we must protect Ukraine because it is a quote-unquote democracy. But they're lying. Ukraine isn't actually a democracy. For example, to hold on to power, Ukraine's president shut down the 3 TV stations that were openly criticizing him and his policies, imprisoned the head of the opposition political party that had come in second place in their elections, and went and arrested and jailed that party's leaders. This is exactly what Putin has been accused of doing. But Ukraine did this all with the support of the United States. Now, here's something you are not going to hear on the mainstream media.
There we go, Russ. Yep.
Did I mention videos that loop drive me nuts too?
All right, so add more of those next time. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying. Okay, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking because it could get me in a lot of trouble.
So Gary says in the comments for you, Russ, a conspiracy that is proven goes by the term called the truth. There we go, Gary. And he also says you eat elves, so I guess you're eating elves up at the North Pole.
I didn't know what that meant until you put that together for me.
I think that's what he's talking about there. Man. Hey now, Gary. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. All right. So let's get rid of this idiot vertical video. So there was a thing on Newsmax called the title was "Rush Was Right." I haven't watched it yet.
Okay, well let's check it out. You put that in there?
It wouldn't surprise me whatever he's saying because I haven't listened to him much, and
Hey,
yeah, I
that's
wouldn't be
funny that you did
surprised.
that. Well, not funny. That's a coincidence that you did it today. I believe today is a 1 year anniversary of Rush Limbaugh's death. I was actually watching
It is.
contribute to him.
Yes.
Aw.
If you're listening to this on Friday morning, well, I'm sorry you missed it. Sorry.
Didn't he
Sorry
always
there,
say,
bud.
What was his quote? I know these people or something. I think that's what he used to always say, right?
I don't know. Let's watch.
Welcome to the Chris Salcedo Show on Newsmax.
Hi, mate. It's
Today
Newsmax.
is a rather solemn day among those of us in the conservative movement. 1 year ago today, we lost the great Rush Limbaugh. We lost more than a conservative warrior. We lost more than a man who was the pinnacle of his profession. We lost a man who knew the psychology, the ways and tactics of the enemies of freedom, the American left. Rush was right, remembering Rush Limbaugh on the 1 year anniversary of his death in tonight's preamble. Special counsel John Durham's filings alleging that Hillary Clinton's campaign hired a tech firm to infiltrate Trump Tower servers and servers of the White House to paint the false Trump-Russia collusion narrative has sent left-wing enablers in the press, in the Democrat Party, and in permanent Washington scrambling. But Rush Limbaugh knew the Russia-Trump narrative was bunk from the very beginning.
James Clapper, July 19th, 2019. I really do wonder whether the Russians have something on him. John Brennan, March 2018. The Russians may have something on him personally. James Clapper, December 2017. What a great case officer Vladimir Putin is. He knows how to handle an asset, and that's what he's doing with the president. The president's a Russian agent, says James Clapper on Tuesday, lying through his teeth.
Rush also keyed in early on in the era of Biden that his regime would not lead to the U.S. defeating the China virus. Rush knew that Biden would ultimately lose control of the pandemic and would ultimately usher in more poverty and death. And that's exactly what happened. More people have died from the China virus under Biden's watch than under President Trump's. How was Limbaugh able to predict this outcome with such certainty? Well, it's because Rush knew a fundamental truism. No left-wing policy has ever led to anything good in the United States. As usual, Rush was on the cutting edge of societal evolution. Watch.
Well, isn't that the way we report this stuff? I mean, that's how they reported it with President Trump. Except they were a little bit more critical than I was. I mean, they had thousands of people dying every day because of Trump. I reduced my number to 100. Over 100 people have died so far from COVID-19 due to President Biden's mishandling of the virus. Well, they were going to fix it, right? We're going to unify ourselves out to wazoo, and we're going to fix all this.
But Biden divided us, and he went lawless, ushered in tens of thousands of infected China virus carriers illegally from the southern border, and the rest is, of course, unfortunate history. Rush knew exactly what Biden would do. Why? Because Rush would say that he knows these people. When I got onto radio today, I remembered Rush by also remembering P.J. O'Rourke, who we just lost a few days ago. Both men were able to tackle the serious issues of our day and do so in an entertaining and funny manner. You know, I've been listening to some of my colleagues, too, in radio and TV, remembering Rush today. Many of them zeroed in on a life lesson that Rush often preached. Never accept the premises of the left. Rush knew and understood that when left-wing extremists postulate premises, they do so from a position that assumes you are the problem. Conservatives are the problem. America is the problem. We've seen an example of this in recent days. Recent National Terrorism Advisory System bulletin released by the wannabe dictators in Biden's Department of Homeland Security. According to the bulletin, any American proliferating, quote, narratives that the Biden administration deems false or misleading qualifies as a terrorism threat. In other words, the Biden administration is attacking your First Amendment rights by declaring that they, and only they, can be the word police, determining what is false or misleading. And then
that actually sounds a lot like the thing Trudeau was doing, where he
Yeah.
said the unacceptable ideas or whatever.
Right.
Whatever he said.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
actually the memo I referred to when we were talking about the truckers there up in Canada. So I'm glad you paused it there, Russ. Yeah, I don't know if anybody's seen that memo, but if you get a chance, check it out online. Maybe we could read it on the show or talk about it more next week or something. But if you read through that memo, I've never seen anything like it in the several hundred years I've been alive here in the U.S. But anyway, it's crazy what powers are going to give DHS over people who are just openly communicating their beliefs about what's going on right now. So it's pretty concerning. Yeah. So you're right on target, Russ. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to continue with this?
It's a pretty good clip. Sure. Why not? Let's check it out. Let's check it out.
Here we go.
It's like people are enjoying it. Yeah. Thanks.
And they get to declare those alleged misleading statements as terrorism. Aside from the fact that Biden just defined almost every single politician in America, we all know what he's really saying. What the thugs in Joe Biden's regime are stating is that if you oppose them, you're a terrorist threat to his regime. Every American should reject the premise that free speech in America has to be filtered through a government minister of truth. Like Rush said, reject their premises. Many of you, like me, miss Rush Limbaugh every single day. Some people decided to tune out of talk radio when he passed away. My hope is those people will come back, if not for themselves, do it for Rush. I can think of no more fitting way to honor Rush Limbaugh's life and legacy than for all of our people to turn into happy conservative warriors using the lessons he preached to remain free and keep our country great. After all, Rush was right. We are a people worth saving.
There we go. Nice.
Right.
Good clip. Good clip. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. Yep. Hey now. Shout out to Quinn.
Yes.
See a new.
I'm gonna give these guys a like. We need to support all the conservative outlets that we can. Give the message to big tech that we're standing in solidarity.
Absolutely. Thank you, Russ. Good work.
I just closed the wrong thingy.
Yeah, there's a gentleman just commented, Quinn, in there in the comments, who's been listening for a while. A good friend of mine from up in New Hampshire, a couple years older than me, so he's like 250, I think, right, Quinn? But anyway, I'm hoping to have him on the program sometime. Really good guy. If you're listening, Quinn, still let us know. But he used to teach outdoor skills at a camp that I went to, and I want to tell the story real quick. It was pretty awesome because he used to be able to light a fire under like a very rainy environment. We used to literally take a hose and shoot it over the wood in this fire pit, and he could light that fire with half a match. So shout out to Quinn for teaching us how to.
That's some skill.
Yeah.
What was the secret? Lighter fluid, hairspray?
Squaw wood actually is the secret. Russ.
A D battery?
He's still there. Fantastic. Squaw wood. He would teach us how to go around the under the pine trees and grab like the little dry branches, and you could grab them and break them off. It's all like the dry stuff underneath the pine trees, and you bundle it up. And I believe the Indians used to gather it that way for fire, so that's why it's called squaw wood. But we'll have to have Quinn on the program sometime, and he can tell us all the details and share some other good information with us. So welcome, Quinn. Hey now. All right. So what else we got here? What else is on your mind, Russ? What you been thinking of lately? What's going on with you?
Not much.
Yeah?
Chris, I'm not much of a radio host. Don't do this.
Come on, you want to take over for a minute?
No, I don't.
No, I was just kidding. How about this right to repair stuff? You been following that at all?
Yeah, I have. Do we have any links to it?
No. I was just wondering. Anything new to report on that?
Well, besides the government is corrupt and the big companies don't want us to be able to repair things.
Right.
There's a few items at play here. I follow a channel called Lonnie's Tech Tips, and he uses these cameras to, it's a group of YouTubers that make sets of videos, and they use these cameras which are run by batteries. And this is just the latest update that I've had.
Okay. All right.
And
good.
so these battery packs, like all batteries, are going to run down over time. And you want to be able to replace them, but not everyone wants to buy a new one and then just throw that old one in the landfill. So
Sure.
what they did was they attempted to take some 18650, regular, I guess lithium or whatever kind of batteries, the long ones, and rebuild the cell structure with new batteries and just use the brain on top that manages the circuitry.
Okay.
And it turns out that even if you do everything correctly, either the camera or the brains of the battery will reject the repair outright. And
I see.
yeah, and that's something that is a problem because it's very wasteful.
Well, sure.
And,
yeah, I think that's that whole
I'm not,
serial number thing they're doing.
Well, it's not even about serial numbers. It's about whatever.
Tell us what it's about.
Whatever programming they use in their in what manages the charging of the battery so that they don't overcharge and explode and whatever.
I heard Slick Willie has a concern about this. Is that true?
No.
Don't you have him on the phone? No.
No, Slick.
Come on,
Willie's unavailable today. He's having
work with me.
He's in a meeting with Monica.
Oh boy. Right. Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. No, I mean, probably follow that at some point more on the show, but it is unfortunate what they're doing. I've seen that more and more with the Apple products and other products. When you need to get a repair done, the serial numbers will really jack you up, so you can't, switch one component out with another one unless it's the original. You pay all that extra money for the manufacturer to supply it to you. So
it's not even that. I could go off about Apple products too. You could buy 2 brand new iPhones from the Apple store, switch their batteries the correct way, and those phones will reject those batteries because they don't have the Apple store blessing. They have a special software that they tell the phone,
looking at
hey,
a code,
this
has to match like the serial number or something.
Yeah, and basically they have the ability to reprogram the code and say, hey, this is your new battery now. But
it doesn't sound very environmentally friendly, really.
It's not environmentally friendly. And I heard a term recently called greenwashing. And basically it's when these big companies like Apple pretend to love the environment and put on green face and pretend that they love the environment, they love recycling, all that, and then they have they call themselves out with their own actions because it's incredibly wasteful.
Right.
And I mean, it's not just batteries. I did batteries the last
it's a
2
bunch
stores,
of everything. Yeah.
But it's everything because they put what's called a T2 chip in the laptops.
Oh, the T2 chip, of course, yeah.
Yeah, which is known for overheating and it controls everything. It controls everything.
Gotcha.
It controls the boot process. It controls the charging. If that thing dies, it is a single point of failure, and you can't put a new one on because it's encrypted.
Right. Well, we'll keep an eye on that, but I suppose that's probably a good update on that. I was just taking a look at the comments here, and Jeremy actually added some comments regarding what we were talking about there with the trucker convoy, and I'm glad he mentioned that because I saw something about this. About I believe the GoFundMe was hacked. You guys hear about that, where they were doing the contributions through GoFundMe? I believe it was.
Well, that was actually, what was it? It was like donate, pay, send or something.
Yeah, there was a couple different ones.
It was an alternative to GoFundMe.
Right.
And that the GoFundMe, the funds were seized. And then they were like, no, actually, we're just going to give people a refund because they were going to donate it to some other thing, which is called stealing.
Well, that's ridiculous.
And,
they're basically stealing people's money.
Oh, of course it's stealing people's money. It's fraud. It's all kinds of illegal things on all kinds of levels. And then they went to this other platform, which then got hacked. And I don't know what happened to the funds, but after that, Trudeau, from what I've heard, I believe he has been behind the commands to freeze at least 2 accounts of people who got like $1 million or something, and the banks are required to report like any large transactions or suspicious activity. And I guess he has a hotline for that.
Yeah, well, it's crazy. I was looking into that a little bit, and they're also apparently going to seize the assets of the actual truckers themselves under that new bill there in Canada that Trudeau just put into act, the Emergency Act, whatever they're calling it, where they can, literally grab the assets of the truckers who have received some of these funds, or just their checking account, banking accounts. It's similar to what they did to Ian Smith over at Tillis Gym. We've spoken about him several times on the program and what he's dealing with, and all the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think over $1 million now in fines. So it looks like they're going to try to go after the truckers that way. Of course, financially is a great way to go after people. By reaching into their bank accounts and maybe taking away their registrations for their trucks and their commercial driver's licenses and all that, because of course their quote unquote peaceful protesting is so horrific compared to the other things we've seen happen to date. So just another hypocritical move by a tyrannical government, which we're seeing more and more of. So ridiculous craziness going on. Let's see. In the comments here, is the true exposure to the electromagnetic fields of the battery in an electric vehicle could cause cancer? By Gary. Well, since we're PhD level physicians on the show, we should definitely answer that with certainty. But we won't, because we're not real doctors and we don't want to get ourselves in trouble.
I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor.
That's a good question. You're a doctor, right? What kind of doctor are you, Russ?
I don't know. Not the medical kind.
No, all right.
Not the medical kind. I'm the kind of doctor that sits in a chair and polishes it with my backside. No.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go.
I don't know.
A lot of cars are going to EV, right, Chris?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, Liberty, because I did watch parts of the Super Bowl. As everybody knows who's been listening to the program, I'm pretty much sports illiterate and not a big football fan or a fan of many of the organized sports. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I have a lot of friends who love it, but I did catch the Super Bowl with a really good friend of mine who's actually been a guest on the program, Valente Garcia, former vet and war hero in our opinion here on the show. And I was up there visiting him in North Jersey, and we watched it. And Liberty, there was a ton of commercials.
EV.
For the EV cars.
Actually, some of the best ones. And I was like I think, what's his name? Larry David, was he even on one?
I believe so. I don't know if I saw all of them, but I believe you're right. Quite a few of them coming out. And I didn't see one Tesla, which is interesting. And also, apparently, Elon Musk, who we've spoken about on the program, was not invited to the EV summit that Biden put on. So I thought that was interesting.
Wow.
He even made a public statement about that because, what's that, Liberty?
I thought there was some news about Tesla, but I don't remember what it was. It was like because I was thinking about stocks and investing, and so there's some good news about Tesla, but it usually doesn't affect it. I mean, all the stocks usually follow Tesla.
Sure.
Field, but it was interesting because I follow this coach who does stocks and things, and there was a report about one of the Teslas catching fire. I don't know if do you call it an engine? An EV car?
Actually, they're motors. They're electric motors,
There's a motor, and so I thought, okay, I wonder if the stock's going to go down at that news, but she said, she was disagreeing, like she didn't think so, but, and I was like, well, I guess gas cars catch on fire, but it's something about an electric vehicle that now that I've heard that news, I can't get that out of my mind. I feel like, are they more susceptible to catching fire? Like, what do you think?
They can be to some degree. Those batteries, those like lithium ion and lithium polymer batteries that are used in the electric vehicles, they have a ton of energy compared to the old, traditional alkaline batteries that we are all familiar with, like AA's, 9 volts, things of that nature. So their highly dense capacity is due to the chemicals inside those battery packs. And there's, I believe, thousands of those packs. It's pretty much the same lithium ion packs that you'd see in other devices that are smaller, and they wire them together. But the reason I'm talking about the batteries, to answer your question, is if those batteries get punctured it creates a chemical reaction that is crazy. There's actually videos of it out on YouTube. You can watch it. So that's why you have to be really careful. As a matter of fact, some laptops and the phones use that type of battery as well. So if you were to, yeah. I mean, they're inside a special case and they're very well protected. But in an accident, you really kind of all bets are off. So if you're in a Tesla and you, for some reason, lose control, even though they're very safe with the autopilot and the avoidance systems that are built into them, I mean, obviously accidents are always going to happen. But if one of those battery packs gets punctured, it creates a chemical reaction that can create a pretty crazy fire. Yeah, there's videos of them on YouTube. Maybe you could find one, Russ, if we want to check it out since we're talking about it. If you want to take a look for one of those while we're chatting about it here. But yeah, the nature of those packs and the chemicals in there, once they're punctured and they short circuit, they start to almost like explode to some degree. So yeah, got to be careful. But my understanding is they're still much safer than other vehicles due to the nature of the AI and the self-driving and the accident avoidance systems built into them. So your likelihood of dying in a Tesla or having a bad accident one is still statistically much higher, safety-wise than other vehicles. So yeah.
And one more question: are you seeing, like, from the Super Bowl commercials and in general, are you seeing more companies use AI? As I actually was looking for a mattress frame the other day, and I saw that they say an AI technology, and I was like, the AI everywhere.
In the frame, like maybe in the way it was designed, or there's like an AI interface in your bed that's going to talk to you while you're dreaming or something.
But
good morning, Liberty. Good morning, Liberty.
Are you seeing? are you seeing it more? Are you seeing more AI being advertised? I mean, are they starting to get this in our heads? Like,
yeah, it's everywhere now, and it really is getting integrated. And in a lot of ways, it's pretty cool. But one of the concerns I have, especially as many of us do, as Mike G fans and listeners of the program and being a part of the program, is the overreach by the government and these large corporations, using this technology. I've mentioned Elon Musk on the program quite a few times, and the Neuralink, and how that's going to be available in humans pretty soon. We have those Starlink satellites, which I've mentioned on the program, and everything's going to be really, truly connected. Elon Musk and other high-level scientists like himself talk about the singularity, which may inevitably happen with the AI interfaces integrating with humans. So at some point, just like everybody has a cell phone now, we may see that. So it's going to be pretty wild, I think. And like you're pointing out, Liberty, if the beds are going to have it, your fridge has it already, coffee makers are Wi-Fi connected to the internet.
Hey, Chris.
And then eventually we'll be connected and jacked right in, just like in the Matrix. So it's all just around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. So welcome to 2022.
Chris.
Yeah.
Chris. They also have toilets with AI.
Well, there you have it.
Analyze your poop.
We'll get you one for the North Pole. We'll send one up there.
How about a bidet with AI?
I guess I have to look up. I won't bother you with it, but what is the difference between AI and regular technology?
Well, so I can shed some light on this.
All right, go ahead, Russ. See what you got.
AI in its most basic form, it just stands for artificial intelligence, and what that means is basically it knows how to run a program. If you've ever played a video game, this is where AI was used most often. If you used to play, let's say, a game of chess on the computer back in 1995, you could play against a wild Mike G appeared.
Hey now, Mike G, ladies and gentlemen.
No sad.
Speaking of AI, we have.
No, not yet.
No, your mic's not.
Welcome to your program. Right, it's good to have you.
So we've actually developed a clone of Mike G, who is currently a hologram.
Perfect timing. That's the AI Mike G, actually. That Liberty was asking about. Yeah.
But anyway, like I was saying, AI in its most basic form is just the programming behind whatever you're doing. If you're playing a game of chess by yourself on the computer, then the opponent in that scenario is an artificial intelligence. It knows how to move the pieces. It knows what the rules are. It's the very programming of that game. And essentially, the AI that is driving the cars in a very oversimplified fashion, I'm going to put this in, is basically it knows the rules of the road and stuff like that.
Buy gold. Okay, sorry. Subliminal Messages by Billy Crest.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting, Ross. I think one of the biggest differentiators is that they can self-learn too. So
yeah.
I think when you're talking about at Liberty, one of the biggest differences between normal technology and some of these AI interfaces and computers that are now supercomputers is they can learn on their own, and they can learn at a rate that is exponentially faster than any biological entity like humans. So I believe there's actually an occurrence, I'd have to check the references on this, where two university AI systems were connected to each other, and the universities had to turn them off because in a very short period of time they created their own new language to communicate, and they kind of didn't know what they were doing. So they shut them down. Yeah, so and
planning
this is the
world
thing that
domination.
Elon Musk has warned us about is
it's wild.
Yeah, and if it gets out of the box, which it probably already is, who knows?
Ooh.
Maybe a lot of what's going on right now in the world is being run by AI.
Okay, new prediction. New prediction time. Ready? Okay, World War III is going to be humans versus AI.
Oh, I think it already started.
Mark it on your calendar.
Right now. Yeah, right. Well, maybe it already is. Who knows?
Yeah.
So for those of you just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning with Mike G. From Mike G in the Morning, just joining us. Welcome to your program.
Oh,
How you doing? We missed you, man.
Wait, who's Mike G?
Come on. You could do better than that.
Show us how it's done. It wasn't.
Yeah,
it's not
welcome
the same
yourself,
without
Mike.
Come on, man. No, give it another shot, Chris. I'll give you a mulligan on that.
All right, ready? For those of you just tuning in, you're listening to Mike G in the Morning, only on the Freedom Station, WFYL.
That's better.
Is that better? All right.
There
Thanks.
we go.
Did you hear my opening to the program? You were tied up with
I
a client.
didn't hear anything.
All right.
You learned
I was
well,
at an induction for New Gun Club.
Oh,
and
awesome.
I was in the middle of nowhere. So I had zero service even after I got out. Of course, I went to try to tune in to check out what was going on. So I am coming in the dark right now.
Okay.
I know nothing about what's been discussed so far.
Excellent. That's
I'm just
probably
hopping in for the sake of hopping in. Glad that we've got people from the Mike G in the Morning family tuning in. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yep.
But you've had a solid over an hour, so we're already into the rogue hours. Anything that airs over the airwaves tomorrow morning will be solely Philly Chris, plus the producer, and Liberty Lee.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that?
I like
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. Even Susan joined us earlier for a little bit.
She did.
She wasn't on the program, but apparently she was tuned in.
Oh, yeah, she was. She was saying some crazy stuff, too. She was predicting the future, just all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
You're not supposed to tell Mike about that. That was supposed to be a surprise for tomorrow.
Are we not telling everybody she's a time traveler?
Yeah, well, she's going to come out with that pretty soon. I've been talking to her behind the scenes. The truth will be revealed.
Oh, okay.
So welcome back, Mike. Good to have you. Not the same without you, but we didn't lose everybody. We still have some folks listening, so good news.
Very good.
Good
So,
news, yeah.
so what's on the agenda this evening? I did meet a gentleman I did the book signing this past week.
Oh,
at the
yeah,
Great
right.
American Outdoor Show. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Got to see a lot of people. And obviously, during the signing itself, a lot of people mentioned the show, that they enjoyed the show and everything like that. And as I was on my way out the door, I had one foot out the door, I hear from behind me, Mike G, Mike G, Mike G. I turned around, and there's a gentleman with his son. He said, "Hey, just wanted to let you know that I love the show. We tune in every single week.
Awesome.
And buckle up and enjoy the ride."
That's cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for listening. And asked for a quick picture, so I got a picture with him and his son. A friend of mine was with me. We're heading out together, and it was nice to stop and talk with somebody who appreciates the program. If he's listening, I'd love to give him a shout out. I didn't ask on the spot, obviously, if he minded if I said his name or showed the picture, so I don't want to do that without his permission.
Sure.
Because who knows what line of work he's in. Something like that, showing that this guy's at a gun show talking to conservative talk radio hosts, Second Amendment attorney, that could be bad for people in some lines of work, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. Yeah.
Imagine he's a school teacher or something like that.
Oh my goodness, forget about it.
Comes out that he's at a gun show hanging out with a Second Amendment attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And as terrible and wrong as it is, that can get people in trouble.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. That's the world we're living in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sending the picture, though. I did see it. It was cool to see you guys out there with a fan of the show. It's always nice to hear from our audience. And gosh, I really appreciate that folks tune in and spend their time with us. So thanks.
Jeremy says, he said he kept saying the F word and that you'd cover the FCC fines.
Yeah, I kind of did that.
Yeah, we were running up the bill on the FCC for you, Mike.
Oh, it looks like I got some hellos in the comments from Jeremy. And Durso says, "Hey now." Durso, good to see you. Hey now.
Hey now.
Jeremy says, "Chris has been telling us all your deepest, darkest secrets." Oh, no. That'd be a pretty boring episode, Jeremy.
It was pretty interesting, actually. Yeah. It was pretty good. I told him about that
Durso
one time.
likes my T-shirt. This is a great T-shirt. This comes from Rebecca. Got me this one. We got a nice picture of she and I wearing the T-shirt. Pennsylvania Declaration of Rights, Article 1, Section 21, shall not be questioned. One of my favorites. Rita said a good job. She said, "Welcome, Mike. Good to see you, Rita. Thanks for being here."
Thanks, Rita. Hey now, Rita. Hey now.
Jeremy's a funny guy.
Oh, he's the best.
Jeremy
funny
said
how?
that.
Like a clown?
Not funny like a clown. You don't make me laugh. You're not here to amuse me.
Jeremy, that Philly Chris sounded like NPR today.
He signed on like NPR.
No, he sounded like NPR. It's like an NPR voice.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does.
Yeah.
Quinn says, "Hi, Mike." Hey now, Quinn. Give me a hey now.
Hey now, Quinn. Yeah, it's awesome. The Quinn's. I told a little story about Quinn earlier. He's one of my good close camp friends from back home.
Oh, it's your buddy Quinn.
Yeah, my buddy
your
Quinn.
Buddy
I told
Stu
you
and
about
your buddy Quinn.
Yeah, Stu and Quinn and Crispy
and your buddy Flinchy or something, right?
Quinn is Crispy's twin brother, except
Crispy.
Yeah, Crispy, Quinn, and Quinn's the nicer version of Crispy, basically.
Okay.
The much nicer version, right? No, Crispy's amazing too. He's very nice. Good to have you here. Good to have everybody here. So
we've got to do that gig where we go down to your buddy's wind farm and try to find the dead birds to collect the money.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have to do that. Let's definitely get something on the calendar. I know you're crazy busy, but we should schedule something for the spring or early summer or something when it's a little bit warmer.
I told you I had somebody write in and have a disagreement with him because he was saying the birds get killed while they're flying north much sooner than New Hampshire.
I think you did talk about that, yeah.
He didn't have the fortitude to come on the air and have a debate with your buddy.
Is he claiming that the other windmills take out those birds? They don't even make it? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe that's why there's no birds at all.
He said, dude, they're dead. They're dead long before they get to New Hampshire. That's why he's got no dead birds. There are no more alive birds to be killed in New Hampshire.
Sounds very scientific.
That's rough, buddy.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I've seen birds in New Hampshire, though.
I invited him on the program. Unfortunately, so many people are hesitant to come on because if you see what's happening to people and this cancel culture.
Yeah,
if
well, it's
all lockstep into the narrative, then you're in a lot of trouble.
I actually have a clip in here about self-censorship, so it's interesting you're talking about that. And it's one I didn't play yet, so maybe at some point we could play that. It's by a gentleman, David Icke, who I've been following for some time, and for many years he was and still has been called a conspiracy theorist, but a lot of what he's talked about since the late 80s and early 90s has come to fruition now. So and that particular clip is about self-censorship, which is kind of what you're talking about. And I find myself doing that to some degree. I don't do it that much. I really try to avoid it, but it's hard not to. Like you just mentioned, we have a lot of fans out there who come to your seminars and are U.S. Law Shield members and listen to the program and are conservative. And especially now in these corporate environments, you have to really be careful what you say.
Sure.
Make the wrong statement in a meeting or whatever. They'll come after you.
Jeremy says Mike should check out the screenshot I sent in.
What's that?
What's that?
So that was actually what I posted in the doc, and Russ kind of gave crap about it, but it's in the doc.
Bring it up
it's at
again.
the top. Jeremy's chat.
Oh, okay. So we have it.
At the very, that's it right there.
Cool.
Mike, are you able to see the screen since you joined in?
Oh, yeah, of course. So I had a bunch of people send me this one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go ahead and read it, Russ?
Oh, boy.
It's a tweet from the ATF.
Okay.
And it's legit. I checked it out to make sure it wasn't something that
All
somebody
right.
doctored or anything like that.
So it says,
Oh, yeah, I did see this actually. Yeah.
Valentine's Day can still be fun even if you broke up. Do you have information about a former or current partner involved in illegal activity? Let us know, and we will make sure it's a Valentine's Day to remember. Call 1-888-ATF-TIPS or email atftips@atf.gov.
How about that?
Great use of our tax dollars, right?
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day.
What could possibly go wrong, right? Are
Yeah,
you
I mean-
angry at somebody and feel like jamming them up?
Right.
Does that not cross their mind that, hey, maybe somebody's going to use this nefariously if we're throwing it out there as a point of revenge?
Well, they must not care. I mean, you think they would know that happens because they're the ATF, right, Mike?
Is there a penalty for falsely doing this?
What was that, Russ?
Is
In
there a-
theory or in reality?
Uh,
No, that's
either or.
that's a legitimate question. Is in theory or in reality? Because people always ask me, well, the people who made the false accusations, what happened to them? They went to jail, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right.
Okay, then. So I imagine
they
it is illegal, but not in practice. Kind of like jaywalking. or actually in
Unfortunately,
Pennsylvania, it's actually, you can look at these old laws that date back hundreds of years probably. It's illegal to sing in the bathtub.
Didn't we look at that one episode?
We
Maybe we should
did.
do that again sometime.
We did. It was really stupid laws.
You can't walk backwards holding an ice cream cone in your pocket on a Wednesday.
That's why I do it all the time.
You're not allowed to, I don't know, carry a flashlight in your back pocket or something. So
I
something.
don't
It's
know.
always
Did
something
we-
so specific.
Did we do that as a group, or did I do that when it was the live show years ago?
That was during one of the live shows. I was actually reading it on my phone.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Did you read that? Did you guys read the fine print in that ad? We would love to meet and treat them to a Valentine's Day surprise.
I don't know. It's super blurry.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just interesting how they would put that out there in the public domain. That
Change
makes you
it with
wonder.
somebody who doesn't have the COVID shot.
Have you ever wanted to be a giant pain in the backside for people? Call us at ATF. Tips.
It's more than
That's
that.
the primary gripe of red flag laws, and they're encouraging, basically encouraging people to do that.
Right.
I don't know. I guess you could pass it off as their motivation is to get legitimate information about criminals.
Sure, but is that even under their primary scope of what they are tasked to do? Right? Like soliciting people for that type of stuff, especially from someone who might have a motive to, report.
Well, that's
right,
just it.
which
Yeah,
is what
that's
you're
the
pointing
most
out,
important part.
obviously. Yeah. But
And there's more than jam them up. That
Yeah.
like, I mean, man, they're really.
Have you ever wanted to be labeled a snitch?
Mm.
And
Did
be
we have
put
any
into
guests
witness
on this evening
protection?
that I missed?
No, we did not. No, we've just been kind of going
Not
with the
even
flow.
sure.
We did a bunch of clips, read an article, and
The Philly Chris show.
yeah, pretty much. I
Nice.
figured I should mention though, we have a returning guest next week lined up, an excellent returning guest next week. There.
I hope you promoted that during the meat of the hour, no?
No, I meant to, and I did actually forget. But I thought we'd do a promo this week anyway. I was going to put something together to do a promo this week. So we'll,
Okay. Is it going to involve clips from the previous episodes?
that's what I was thinking of doing. Yep. Since I have
That's a
those
good
from
idea.
us. Yeah. But Ms. Elson Boss, the champ, she'll be back next week, so tune in. It's been one of our most popular episodes out on YouTube and Rumble, and she'll be back with us next week to update us on what she's got going on. And so tune in for that. Have any questions you want to ask her, throw them in the comments next week.
And on the 3rd, it's the following week, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The 3rd, we have Sarah Macon of Macon Wellness.
Oh,
She's
awesome.
a mental health therapist. She's going to
cool.
come on to talk about addiction. Because when we discussed the Biden crack pipe story,
right,
I started thinking, addiction is something that people have been touched by, whether it's themselves or through their family members, in a very big way in his last. It's always been the case, but particularly in the age of the opioid epidemic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's through the roof right now, yeah.
I thought it would be a good idea to have someone on here
to
have a serious discussion about it.
Sure.
And that's something that's really beyond politics, isn't it? Because
absolutely.
no matter whether you're rich or poor, Republican, Democrat, that's something that's going to impact your life one way or another, whether it's personally or through somebody you know who's struggling with it.
Yeah.
People dying from it.
Right.
I can't tell you how many people I grew up with who have passed away. Addiction in one form or another.
Yeah, it's a powerful force. I know several folks who I've been friends with over the years who have battled with it, and it's like you said, it can touch anybody. It doesn't matter what station in life you're in. In some ways, it's worse if you have more funds available. It's a little bit more accessible.
Yeah.
So,
I was talking with one of my friends who's an active law enforcement officer, and he said at this point, nobody's immune. It's everywhere. You'll see suburban, high-dollar kids who are addicted to heroin.
Sure.
And it's really getting bad.
Yeah.
He said that, unfortunately, it got worse when they started using Narcan.
Oh, interesting, because people had less fear of dying, maybe.
Yeah, they'll just save me. Yeah.
Sure.
They'll just save me. Now, I'm sure there are a percentage of people who are deep in the addiction, but that doesn't even cross their mind. They don't care if they live or die. And having that option doesn't make a difference one way or the other. And even if they knew, hey, there's a good chance I can die from this, they'd still go ahead and do it.
Sure.
But you'd imagine that for some people, that would be a little bit of a deterrent, right? Seems almost a little safer for them to do it.
Right.
They feel like it's a little safer, maybe.
Well, I believe so. Actually, I just saw, I think in Philly, they're going to start putting out these like vending machines with free Narcan in certain parts of the city, like over in Kensington and other areas. And a lot of the people over there carry them. As you know, I've gone over.
It's a tough one because you don't want people to die, right?
Absolutely.
Probably know people who have died from this kind of stuff, and
Sure.
you wish they didn't. But you also don't want to encourage these kinds of things because it leads to a miserable life while you're living.
Right.
It affects the people around you. And we see crime spiraling out of control because people need their fix and they'll do anything to get that fix.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not an easy issue. That's not something that's black and white. Hey, the Republicans got it all right. The Democrats got it all right.
Well, I think
not.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of nefarious things behind the scenes regarding that. There's reports, pretty legit reports I've seen that the fentanyl, for example, comes out of China, makes its way, to below our southern border. And right now, with the border situation, it's making its way across the border to places like Kensington locally and other areas of the country where it's gotten much, much worse and more available and cheaper. So, if you wanted to destroy a country from within, you would certainly make that available to the population, which seems to be the case, along with division. And, I can go on and on. I've mentioned this stuff before. So you guys know what I'm talking about.
We'll put it in the poll. Is Narcan access a good idea? Let's see what everybody has to say. There's
Ladies and gentlemen, check
pros
out
and cons. Definitely don't want to see people die. I mean, people in very tough spots, you never know what brought them there either.
Yeah. Still,
Right? How
still a
many of
plus.
these people have had really difficult lives and end up in that situation?
I'll tell you what. You know what's interesting, Mike, that we're talking about this. Just recently, I had a conversation with a friend of mine. I'll leave the name of the individual off here, of course, but somebody who I know.
It was either Quinn, Christy, Stu,
right,
or Val, or Garrett.
None of those, none of the above. But it's somebody else that I've known for a while who is struggling, with addiction to some degree.
Oh.
And I've been trying to get them to.
I didn't hear that part before I started guessing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. They're all good. I don't think it's anybody you're aware of, but I've been trying to get them to seek some help. And they do have some PTSD from military service, and I think a lot of these military vets end up having that issue. But talking to him and some other people I've known who have gone down that path for some relief, really have reached the conclusion that they don't care if they die. They really don't. And I've heard that repeatedly. And it's a tough one to overcome. Maybe when we have the individual on in the third, we could talk about that a little bit. Might be a good time, too, to play those clips that I still have prepared. Maybe I waited on playing those for a little while for good reason, since we have the expert coming on, where I interviewed the folks in Kensington. Maybe we can play it that night for the individual and see what they think. Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Let's have those teed up.
Yep, I'll get that teed up.
What about if they give you Narcan with a referral to a group,
What's that?
I would think like it's a good idea if they give you with it a referral to some kind of help group.
Oh.
Yeah, give them some information, yeah.
It's not like aren't you usually unconscious when they give it to you?
Yeah, you pretty much you're out. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying,
I guess that's when they administer it. But you're saying if people are getting it just in case, like, so they're going to get their stash of Narcan, so that way when they seize out, they'll have
like
it. You're saying?
similar to what I'm saying is similar to like if you're going to get food stamps, like you have to show something like that you're not like drug test or something. But maybe like if you're going to either get it or when you wake up after they administer it, that you have to go to some kind of program. I mean, I don't.
What do you think of that? That's another tough one, though. No.
Say that again.
If you're getting food stamps, you have to show that you're not addicted to drugs.
Interesting. Interesting.
What do you say, Chris?
I guess it's not a bad idea. I'm trying to think. How far. If that's like an overreach by government for most people who are not necessarily engaged in that activity, who might need that. You know what I mean?
No.
But I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't
Some
know.
people.
What I think about is what about if these people have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that could be different, but I'm saying like it's I giving out free stuff, but also having an incentive to stop and move up.
Gotcha.
What was that, Liberty?
You see the graphic that Russ put up?
Oh, there you go. Truck is staying.
Come on.
That's pretty good, Russ. Nice job.
Yeah. Do you have
right?
that meme that we posted on social media this week, Liberty?
Which one was it?
That one
Which
is
one
great.
did we post?
The Pawn Stars one.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I posted that one.
Oh.
Sent that one privately.
Okay. That was private. Okay.
That was a good one.
Can we talk about it publicly, or?
Yeah. We can, but I wish we had the image to just show it because it's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna paste it into the doc. I just found it came right up.
Okay, cool.
Because we got to show this, and I don't care how much Russ complains. This is just too perfect. I laughed for days at this one.
Side note, I'm also seeing a lot of stuff about HIV lately, and I'm very confused. A lot of conflicting information on HIV going on.
Right. Well, after that video that Mike shared with that doctor, that whole thing. What was his name? Do you remember, Mike, that doctor's name? Your memory's so sharp compared to mine.
Dr. Wilner.
That's what it was. Thank you. See, I knew you'd remember. But where he injected himself with the HIV patient's blood. So makes you question things. Dr. Fauci was involved with that whole thing too back in the day in the 80s.
It's like you're in a time machine if you watch that video, because all the things he's saying about Fauci are the same things that people say about him today.
Yeah, right. There's too many similarities.
You got the doc up, Russ?
Right. There you go. Very true.
Is it up there? I can't see.
I want my student loan canceled.
And then what is...
Best I can do is a free crack pipe. Yeah, welcome to 2022. Man, imagine what we're going to see next year, right?
Next year it'll be a free bong.
Yeah. Well, you'll get the crack with the pipe, maybe.
We'll become Bongistan.
We're still in the meat of this year, Chris.
What's that, Liberty?
We're still in the meat of this year.
I know. And just think how many years left Biden still has in office if he makes it. You know, we're still at the beginning of all this. How about that?
Right. Have you been bragging about the price of gold?
I mentioned it a few times, a little bit. Maybe.
How much is it up right now from where you started? Because you said 30%.
It's just a few percent over the past week, I believe. I'd have to double check the numbers on that. However, I do.
So you think there's still plenty of meat left on the bone?
Oh, yeah, there's huge meat, man. I think, honestly, it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be one of the biggest investment opportunities of our lifetime.
Really?
In the next few months and years, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Because right now, see, the biggest thing, too, is when you look at what's happening right now with inflation and, overall costs, across the board with fuel, the economy, the downturn of the power of the dollar, the value of the dollar, I should say. Even though, let's say right now you have your money in the market or you have it in a bank account or whatever, it's going backwards. So if you can just get out of the dollar and at least not lose any value, but if you can then increase your value, which gold has the potential to do, it's a safe haven. And when you look at a lot of the factors over the course of history when gold has gone up, they're very similar to what we're dealing with right now on a global scale, and especially here in the United States. So again, this is not investment advice, as Mike always tells me to cautiously make our listeners aware. But if it does not turn out to be one of the best investments in the next few months, I would be shocked.
There's this dude at my bank.
Yeah.
He did investments, and every time I'd come in, he'd try to talk to me. Hey, you got to invest. And
right.
Here's what we do here and everything like that. And finally, just to shut him up, I gave him some money.
Okay.
And I get the statements in the mail. I usually never open them. I put them right in the shredder.
Uh-huh.
And then I decided to look the other day.
Yeah.
And it's been there for years. I haven't touched it. So maybe 5 years, let's say.
Okay.
And the return has been dollars.
Oh, wow.
Dollars, like less than $10.
Really?
Wow.
How much was in?
Less
How much
than
roughly
$10.
was in there? Like a few thousand.
Enough that $10.
Okay.
enough that $5 or $10 is certainly not impressive. Well, think about it, right? So if let's say it was $100, $5 would be what?
If you said what, $100?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
5%. Yeah, 5%.
5%, right? So if it's $200.
Yeah, 2.5%.
Okay, and if it's $300, let's say.
Yeah, it's a couple percent, less than 1.8, something like that.
Okay, so let's say it's $400.
How much did you invest, Mike?
What I'm saying is that it's an abysmal amount.
Yeah,
of
right.
return.
That's.
I thought you were trying to tell us you put a lot
doesn't even
of
cover
money in
inflation, right?
No, absolutely.
Not even close.
Yeah. The other thing too is a lot of these investment vehicles, when you go into the banks and things of that nature, those locations, they usually have a cost on it too. So if you look at the fine print, you're paying an annual fee, and oftentimes it's a certain basis points of your overall, assets held under management is the term. So if you give them $1,000, they're going to take a certain percentage of that every year. That was one of the biggest things with Vanguard when John Bogle created Vanguard, was the cost, because the costs will erode away your initial investment. So, be careful with your investments. Look at the fine print. Those folks at the bank will.
Jeremy says Russia's buying up gold. That's going to make the price go up.
Yeah.
We have a war on our hands. Stock market went down, presumably based on that, no?
Yeah, we were talking about Ukraine earlier, and I actually played some clips from CNN even because their narrative right now is, I'm sure, you've been pretty busy and you probably don't watch CNN too much, Mike, but I'll put it on every now and then just to see what they're saying over there on the Clown News Network. And they're pushing this narrative like crazy. It's almost like the, 2 weeks to slow the curve thing. Biden is openly saying, we're going to see an imminent invasion any day now. They're even talking about false flags and things like that, openly all the way up to the presidential level here. So, but I think they're going to drag it out for a while. I think they're using the fear narrative. I'm not saying, in my opinion, that nothing will happen. I think we may see something take place at some point, but I think it's going to still be a little while. They're just going to try to drag on the narrative and, more fear mongering like we saw with COVID. So.
I'm looking at this website called tradingeconomics.com.
Okay.
And it's got commodities. So it's got the price of gold and silver, copper, steel, iron ore, lithium, platinum. But then it's also got a bunch of other stuff. It's got soybeans, wheat, lumber.
Get some soybeans too, because food's going up.
Cheese, milk, rubber.
Yep.
You know where I get some rubber, man?
What's it called?
Man. Yeah, man.
What site are you on, Mike?
It's called tradingeconomics.com.
What do you need, man? I'll get you whatever you need, man.
My friend, who is now my on-the-ground journalist in California, said that she got gas the other day and it's $4.49 at Costco unleaded.
That's pretty expensive. I've seen some places in California, $6-7, I believe.
Did she put an "I did that" sticker on the pump? Your friend?
Oh yeah. You see those everywhere. I saw one in an elevator the other day at the King of Prussia Mall. That was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
I'm like, why? Is it because the elevator's going up? What's going on here?
I may or
It
may not
keeps
have
on going up and down. It's not stable.
Thanks, Rita. It looks like Rita gave us an update on the gold price, $1,900, and silver, $24. I predict they'll both go up. I think for certain reasons, gold might be a better move right now, but I still have strong belief in silver.
What was the spot price of silver when you gave me that Trump coin years back? I don't remember it being more than $20.
No, I think it was around 16. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and the other thing too is, I'm not giving any financial or tax advice here, but what's interesting, and people forget about this, is if you go, and Russ, you were asking earlier about where to get silver and gold. So if you go to a reputable dealer, like there's a really good dealer over in Westchester where I've bought some gold
I've been to that guy before.
Yeah, right by the university.
He's kind of picky with his hours though, no?
Yeah, he doesn't probably need to work a lot, so I don't think he does. But yeah, nice guy, and he's reputable. I was buying the Silver Eagles at the time. It's called like a strong box, which is 100 Silver Eagles, and you generally get the best price that way. So at the time, I think I picked up a strong box for about $1,900, and in the price was $17. The spot price for an ounce of silver, and usually you pay about $1.50, $2. Right now it's even more. I think it's like $3 or $4 above spot for the Silver Eagles. Yeah,
really?
Eagles, right. So when you look at that price that Rita just quoted, for example, that right now it's around $24. I looked at it recently. That sounds right. You would probably go to a dealer right now to be 28 to 30 in reality.
Oh, because so like $3,000 for the strong box.
Probably, yes. So, but the reason I'm getting into this right now is what's interesting when you look at the economics of our current environment. When you invest in the stock market and then you sell out of the market, you're going to have a capital gain that's going to get reported on your taxes. Now, if you go to a dealer and you buy some silver, cash,
you will still pay taxes.
You will still pay taxes because you will report it to the IRS. But there are folks out there who talk about, the fact that
they still pay taxes.
Right, they still pay
Everybody
their taxes.
pays taxes.
Everybody pays taxes. So,
do you have to report that you bought silver on taxes then?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, if you sell it, if you sell
it and you make money on it.
But if I buy it and just hoard it,
Well,
I don't have to tell them.
Actually, I use them as tips.
I'm not a tax guy.
You can hang on to it. You know what I do actually too is I'll give it out as tips sometimes. Like if I'm in a restaurant or something, I'll give
I remember you saying that.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Didn't people like look at you sideways like,
Well,
you give me $1?
Yeah, it's funny because they don't realize, and I'm like, I have to show them on the phone. I'm like, trust me, this is worth a lot more.
This is actually worth $75. Enjoy.
Yeah, right. So I give them away a lot as gifts. I gave you that Trump coin, so most of the silver I give
You
away.
should have a silver eagle and then a $10 bill. And say, all right, which one do you want? And see how many people know to choose the right
have you
one.
seen the Mark Dice videos where he has a 1 ounce gold coin, like it's $1,800, and he offers them that or a Hershey bar, and they always take the Hershey bar.
No.
I want to go try that out in Philly somewhere. Oh yeah, there's a video. I'll find it right now. You got to see this.
But
Yeah,
then
Mark-
you're going to be out like $2,400.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah, somebody's going to see this.
Whatever.
He must be sponsored by like a dealer because he's in front of a shop. He points out the shop. But let's look that up on the old YouTube. It's pretty funny.
Why do I
Yeah.
feel I'm one of those?
Jeremy says I'm doing a 2-month shopping trip this weekend because of the U.S. trucker convoy that starts next month.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Mm-hmm.
You have nothing on the shelves anywhere.
Even rice is going through the roof. I was looking at those big bags of rice recently, and everything's going up. Of
Let's
course.
see. I can tell you exactly how much rice costs right now with my new
Oh, yeah?
website.
Yeah, check it out.
Wow.
I can tell you the
Hey,
price of tea.
Speaking of things going through the roof as far as price, there was a factory called with a brand called Kioxia, which makes things like they make non-volatile memory like flash drives and the memory that goes into your phone that's like 64 gigs, 128 gigs. They had a chemical problem with a lot of their drives, and the price of flash storage is going to go through the roof soon too.
Price is through the roof right now,
Interesting.
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rice is where it's at.
Everything, man. Everything's going up.
Yeah.
Rice had a big spike in June of 2020. It was its all-time high. Looks like.
I think it's time to really get ready. I mean, I think we're going to enter into another Great Depression here.
Orange juice, 133.90.
Yeah.
What
And
else?
that's what they want. That's what the elites want right now. So that's what they want.
Tea is up. Sugar's up. Canola's down.
Oh, the canolas are down?
The oat is
Cannolis?
down.
You're talking about cannolis?
No,
Give me a
canola.
cannoli. I put the link in the doc for that Mike Dice.
What about
video, Mark Dice.
Strombolis?
They're always up.
Oh, so let me read this little snippet it's got
Yeah,
about
please.
rice.
Let's
Rough
check it out.
rice futures, so-called U.S. number 2, are traded in the Chicago Board of Trade. Standard contract unit is 2,000 hundredweights, and that's CWT. 2,000 hundredweights, an equivalent of 91 metric tons.
Hmm.
The biggest exporters of rice are Thailand, Vietnam, India, and the United States. The biggest consumer of rice is China, followed by India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. The rice market prices displayed in trading economics are based on over-the-counter and contract for difference financial instruments. Our rice market prices are intended to provide you with a reference only, rather than as a basis for making trading decisions. So don't use this information if you're going to be trading rice, all right? You need some much more reputable...
Come on, man. I was totally going to use that
You
tomorrow.
need some much more reputable info if you're going to be trading rice, okay?
Do you have to pay taxes on the rice trading too, Mike?
Don't ask me about taxes, rice. I know.
Yeah. Always seek a professional tax advisor about
Yeah,
anything we talk
that's
about
my
on the show.
tax strategy, is call the accountant.
Right.
okay?
That's right. I have a
It's
CPA.
like you don't ask your accountant about gun law, right?
No, not a good idea.
I always do. Is that a bad thing?
Oh, there is something I was hoping you could talk about tonight at some point. Is that
The
whole
crypto czar?
the AR-15 stuff with the
Crypto czar?
Crypto czar.
You know about the crypto czar?
I'm not sure. Tell me
Oh,
about
no.
the crypto czar.
The Biden administration?
Oh, how they're going after cryptos now?
So they
Did
set
mention
something up where
Mhm.
they're looking to
Go after them.
create a mechanism to be able to seize digital assets, essentially.
Sure. Of course. Well, they're going to
Lead
release
a new
the
team dedicated to investigating and prosecuting illicit cryptocurrency schemes. But are they really?
Define illicit. Which
Are they
ones are
really?
illicit? Yeah. Well, this is
Illicit
because they
means
want to
what's
come
too
out with
much
the Fed coin, which will be the new
Well, it's
digital
certainly-
dollar.
Well, do you think that it's competition for the dollar in general, whether or not it's a digital dollar?
Huge. Yeah, they want to crush it because you can't track it the same way. They can't control what you buy and sell with it, and
can't tax it.
Can't tax it. So I think they are going to go after it.
Well, you are supposed to pay taxes on cryptocurrency, aren't you?
You're supposed to, yeah, I believe so.
Or is it when you trade for dollars, or is it treated like a stock or anything like that, or is it? How does that work?
Well, I
'Cause
don't know
if it's
for
currency,
sure, but yeah, I believe it's supposed
when you
to
have
be,
more
yeah.
dollars in your pocket,
Mhm.
right? How does that work?
Absolutely. Well, it's giving people the ability.
I'm just asking
to,
questions. I'm making sure everybody knows. But I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not claiming I know what to do. I'm asking questions.
Well, I have a few questions.
I think that the smartest thing to do is go on a 2-month shopping trip this weekend. Like Jeremy said.
Just spend all your crypto. That's easy.
Yeah,
what would
right.
you buy if you had to make a list right now? What would you buy?
Me?
Yeah,
3
for a
pallets of
2-month
toilet
shopping
paper.
trip.
I've already stocked up on certain things, like rice and
Toilet
canned
paper.
goods, and it can't hurt to have more of that around for, the way the world is right now. So I think non-perishable goods would be smart to have right now, the way things are going. Things that last a long time, inexpensive, maybe even some Spam. Get some Spam, cheap calories, right?
Oh, no.
Some ramen noodles, rice.
I got about 5 years worth of spam in my iCloud account.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got
right.
all those. Yeah, there you go. You got some Hot Pockets.
I had to abandon it a long time ago.
I believe Spam was originally invented for the military. It was sort of like a MRE for them back in the day.
Pretty sure spam is recycled cardboard.
I mean, I'm not saying it's probably the healthiest thing to eat, but
No, I think now is the time to invest in a bidet, so you don't need a toilet paper, a whole pallet of toilet paper in order to. Honestly, if you need a whole pallet of toilet paper, use the hose. If you have that kind of problem, use the hose.
Somehow we always end up talking about toilets on the program. Who would have thought, right, Mike? You started Mike G in the morning talking about bidets.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, bidets are going to be the new currency. You guys heard that, right?
Hey, maybe. Who knows?
All right. Ready to call it a night?
Yeah, it's about 9 o'clock. Sounds good.
Oh. Jeremy says, I wonder what all the crypto guys are saying now with what Canada's doing. It's untraceable. Because the government's getting a hold of it now over there.
Yeah, they're doing that up there, I believe, and, working on it here. And I believe it is going to be called the Fed coin, from what I've heard, the new digital dollar, when they try to get rid of the paper money. So I'm sure that'll be coming at some point here.
Is that why they were collecting money for the alleged coin shortage? They were creating a shortage?
Yeah,
by
right.
collecting
Exactly.
all the
Probably.
coins?
Well, I think it's conditioning people to get ready for it. So, psychology, man.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I'm glad you could make it, Mike. It's nice
Thank
having
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Play us out. You can go ahead and play us out.
What does that mean to play us out?
Oh, you want me to play us out? Do it. You're gonna
We'll
do
do
it
it live.
I was prepared for the opening, but not so much the closing. But you want to do it since you're here? You do it better.
No, because it's going to be the live hour.
The live
and
hour.
I will not have appeared on that
Oh, I
live
see,
hour, and it's
okay.
going to sound ridiculous if you do
Yeah.
the whole hour and I just pop in and say, thanks, everybody. And I won't be on
All right.
with the people either. So
Okay. Oh, good. All right. Well, that'll make it easier.
so
All right.
just
I'll
say
play us
thanks
out
for
then.
tuning in. Stick around for We the People, Pastor David Whitney, Professor Phil Duffy.
Okay. All righty. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. It was my pleasure to do the program tonight. I just miserably failed live on the air there.
Philly
Check
Chris
out
is
We
a
the
host
People.
in
Yeah,
training.
All right, ready? All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Check out We the People tomorrow. Mike will not be.
It's not tomorrow. It's not tomorrow.
What's tomorrow? Thursday? Friday?
It's because you're going when they hear this on the air tomorrow.
That's
it will
right.
be coming
Yes,
next on the air.
Yeah.
Stick around for we.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Try it again.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in to Mike G in the Morning. Tune in to We the People. I am failing.
Do you want me to do it, Chris? Do you want me to do
You
it?
do it, Russ.
Yeah.
You do
okay.
it, Russ.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead, Russ.
Once in a lifetime. This will be like an NFT, but for audio.
I'm doing it on purpose, even though I'm really not. That's the story I'm sticking with. Yeah, go ahead, Russ. You take care. You handle it. I'm having trouble doing it because my.
Okay, shut up for a second. I want to do an outro.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
That's all the time we have for today. Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Pastor David Whitney, Professor Phil Duffy, Mike G. Were you there for that?
No, I just said that.
Mike G will not be joining as a legal analyst because he had better stuff to do.
Try it again.
That was pretty good until I messed it up.
You're almost there. Try it again.
You're almost there.
That's all the time we have for today. Stick around for We the People, the Constitution Matters. Pastor David Whitney, Professor Phil Duffy. Mike is sitting this one out.
We miss you, Ellie. Daddy loves you.
There you go.
Perfect.
All right. Good night, everybody.
All right. Peace and love, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Next week.
Chris is a host in training. Please excuse. He's a student driver.
That's right. All right. Love everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Peace and love. Get some rest. Bye.
All right.
See you, Russ. Thanks, man. Good job.
Jeremy says,
Peace
don't
out,
say
brother.
the F word again.
Yeah, that was good, though. That was fun. I think we did good.
Oh, man.
Cool, man.
SM Durso's
All right.
giving me applause. Thanks.
Yeah, that was good. You did good.
All right.
I totally forgot about the closing.
Yeah,
and I
that's
did
something.
think Mike was going to be on, so I didn't think about it.
I'm gonna end it here.